A fiery exchange inside the courtroom this afternoon. Here, we're hearing from Mark O'Mara, the defense attorney, attempting to get Zimmerman's parents back in the courtroom. The judge says no way. State law, court law, Supreme Court law has already ruled on that. Let's bring in News 13 legal analyst Mark NeJame, who is standing by now. Interesting chain of events we just saw there, Mark. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think this judge has just been calling it right every time. I've been beyond impressed with her. She's well studied. She doesn't make emotional responses. She reads the law and she applies it accordingly to the facts that are presented towards her. So, you know, it's a tough issue for the defense. I mean, I don't fault the defense for trying, but the law is the law. And basically, they are wanting to even the playing field. The prosecution has the victim's, Trayvon Martin's family, sitting in the courtroom, and they are there in part because of support for the state, support for their son, but also it's an imagery that's presented to the jury. And the defense wants to do the same thing. They want to show that George Zimmerman has family, that he's loved, that people care about him, and that he's a human being and he's not there alone. So the defense gave it a shot, and the judge shot it down and said until they take the stand and they're no longer witnesses, she's going to apply the law, and the law says that they can't be inside. She also did the same thing with Attorney Crump, and I'm impressed with that ruling. Before we came back, you'll remember I said that the rule says that it's in the disjunctive. It says or, not and. And so since the parents are there, there is no reason for their counsel to be there as well. If they could not be there, then it's appropriate that their counsel be there in their stead. But since both the parents of Trayvon are there, it's not, it doesn't say that everybody can be there, and I think the judge made a very appropriate ruling on that. And you can tell that O'Mara's not happy, and you can tell Crump's not happy, which probably suggests the judge did the right thing across the board.
All right, very good. Stand by, Mark. We've got a lot more to talk about. Don't go away.
Welcome back to our live gavel-to-gavel coverage of the George Zimmerman trial. Let me introduce you once again to some of the folks who are bringing the trial to you. That would be News 13's Kelly Cook, who is out at the Seminole County Criminal Justice Center, along with our legal analyst, Mark NeJame, offering legal analysis on everything that is going on. And we just heard some heated exchange between the judge and Mark O'Mara, who is trying to make a case. Kelly?
Yeah, absolutely. He's trying to make a case, Jackie, that he wanted his client's parents inside that courtroom. He said it felt like it would balance it out since Trayvon Martin, the victim's family, was allowed to be in there. The parents, however, on that witness list, Judge Deborah Nelson standing firm on her decision that no, they have to stay out until they testify in this court case. That is the law. It's been an interesting chain of events here at the Seminole County Criminal Justice Center, starting with Don West, the defense attorney who took on the responsibilities of the opening statements, the first words that these jurors were to hear. Well, it blew up on social media. Everyone was talking about how Don West sort of started his opening statement with a knock-knock joke, kind of trying to loosen up the jurors a little bit, and tried to make some sort of connection there. But when he came back, he had a different story. Let's take a listen.
No more bad jokes, I promise that. I'm convinced it was the delivery, though. I really thought that was funny. I'm sorry if I offended anyone about that. Mr. Guy made several statements to you this morning that were passionate. They were obviously passionate. They were said strongly, but without much detail to back it up. My focus is on the detail. And if I have to sacrifice passion, it's not because I don't feel passionate about this case. It's been my life's work for the last year. But it's because I don't want that to get in the way, even if it means it's boring or somewhat technical. I want the information before you that you may consider in evaluating the evidence.
All right, News 13 legal analyst Mark NeJame standing by. So, Mark, what do you think? Early on, before lunch, you said you were not at all impressed with Mr. West's performance. What do you think? Did he make a comeback here after lunch?
Well, they got a lucky break. Usually, the last thing you want to do is break your rhythm, but I think it was very fortuitous that they took a lunch break in the middle of that. And it was obvious, it's apparent to that Zimmerman's attorneys, West and O'Mara, got together and counseled during that break, because you saw an effort by West to come back strong, to clarify what landed with a thud, the attempt at a joke there. You know, and I have to say, I don't even think that came across great, you know, because it re-emphasized it. I think a simple, short, I'm apology if anybody was offended, but then to say he thinks it's funny, the trouble with the whole joke aspect is that a lot of people are there, everybody should be there, understanding the great gravity involved with a homicide case. You have a dead teenager and you have a man fighting for his life. Well, you know, a lot of people, you know, they don't want to start out with a joke, and whether it was funny or not funny. Now, there are times for levity in a trial. You know, humor is very effective, and there's a time and a place. Opening statement where you've yet to make a connection with your jurors, I think that you saw, apparently, from his reaction, the jurors were stone-faced, and most of the people in the gallery were stone-faced. So I think that, you know, he just re-emphasized the negative. He did attempt to clean up the issues. That was apparently, you know, a lot of people thought a very disjointed initial presentation, and I think he started out stronger, but then he started going into that extended description of all the witnesses again. So we'll pick this back up. Judge is back on the bench again. See how this plays out.
Just test your lights one time.